I'd flagged this for a broader discussion, but almost seems applicable to talk now about the delineation between knowledge and wisdom. And I'm sure that's something that you have spent a good amount of time investing in. So can you riff on that a bit?
Well, Jimi Hendrix long ago said, "Knowledge speaks and wisdom listens." And that's I do love that. And who knew that Jimi Hendrix was such a philosopher? What it really means, what it speaks to, is the idea is knowledge is center stage often. It means you're showing off. It's like, who's the smartest person in the room. But also from a math perspective, knowledge from an equation perspective is a plus sign. It's something you accumulate over time.
Right.
So that you have so much knowledge. Wisdom, on the other hand, is a division equation. It is taking knowledge, taking experience, taking intuition, and distilling down to the essence of what is important. And so it's that. So wisdom, in some ways, is the opposite of knowledge. Knowledge is expansive. Wisdom is like, the square root of something. And why is that important? Well, in a world where we're just awash in knowledge and information and data, etc., being able to distill down what's essential it becomes more and more important. So when I joined Airbnb 9 years ago, within a month, the founders said to me, "We hired you for your knowledge, but what you really brought was your wisdom." And I was like, I don't know what the difference is. And that became some of my sojourn at Airbnb, is to learn the difference between knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah, and there's certainly elements that are concomitant between knowledge and wisdom. But it's interesting the way you phrase it. I hadn't thought about it exactly that way, but knowledge might be understanding something through their component parts, through an analysis of their component parts. And wisdom might be understanding the essence of something, which I think is interesting. I also feel that wisdom is more of a moral quality than knowledge. I think David Brooks talked about this a bit. Yeah. And it's almost like an acknowledgement of one's own deficiencies, where like a wise leader will surround him or herself by people that actually infill around those deficiencies. And I suppose that there is a acknowledgement of mistake and failure baked into this equation, where, failure begets experience, and experience can beget wisdom if you're willing to actually acknowledge the mistake and then modify. There is that famous phrase, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. So there's something there.
So two thoughts on that. Number one is I think knowledge is local and wisdom is global. And what does that mean? It means, so knowledge is, you could be exceptionally knowledgeable about a particular thing, but the fact that you have a particular knowledge on that thing doesn't necessarily give you the collateral benefit that wisdom does. Wisdom is global because often wisdom speaks to your own ability to read your intuition and your own pattern recognition. And wisdom is, I don't know a wise person who's not also emotionally intelligent. Wisdom is about reading people and about understanding humanity. And there is the philosopher quality to it. And yes, a person who's wise is somebody who knows what they don't know and is willing to admit it. So when I joined Airbnb, I was called curious and wisdom. They said, you're a modern elder because you're as curious as you are wise. It's like, okay, I don't love the idea of modern elder. It sounds like modern elderly, but if I'm as curious as I am wise, yes, that is, I would buy into that.
I'm Jeff Krasno, and welcome to Commune, where every week we explore the ideas, values, and practices that bring us together and help us live healthy and purpose-filled lives. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We hope you'll join us.